Hello everyone, and today we're back for another Loomian Legacy Top 5 video. And in this video, we're going to be ranking all of the Battle Shop Loomians from worst to best. So what I'm saying here is we're going to be ranking all of the ranked Loomians. So from Season 0, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and Season 4, there are 5 ranked Loomians. It's Helvantic, Infernix, Cheyanta, Feroglyph, and Mulmer, and we're going to be ranking all 5 of those Loomians from worst to best. So, out of the way, let's head straight into the video. Number 5 on this list is going to be Mulmer, the water plant type Loomian. This Loomian has an HP stat of 119, energy stat of 83, melee attack of 97, melee defense of 92, ranged attack of 94, ranged defense of 89, and a speed stat of 41. So, it actually does have a very well-rounded stat pool, but the reason why this Loomian is the lowest on the list is for a couple things. This was the Loomian that was featured in Ranked PVP Season 2, and unfortunately, it is the Loomian that has performed the worst out of all of the other Loomians. This is a Loomian that, despite having a solid defensive typing, is pretty much a Loomian that is outclassed at everything. It's a water plant type that's outclassed by Bonfino, because Bonfino can place Banana Split, hits a lot harder, and is a lot faster. And Mulmer, while having some good traits like Woodsman to be immune to plant type attacks and Swampy to lower speed when using a plant type move, just doesn't have that much going for it. It could be a solid Zulong check, and it could be a solid Barb Setter Driving Force Loomian with photosynthesis to heal. But there are literally other Loomians that can do that. I mean, Himber can do that. Wobulus can do that. Gargolem Defense can do that. Oxydrake can do that. There's just way better Loomians that can fill that role better than Mulmer. Despite that, though, Mulmer does actually have a very complex move pool. Has Life Drain to heal HP, Tsunami to hit on the range side, Gnarly Gash, Boom Bash, Driving Force, Photosynthesis, Barbs, Slapdown to get rid of items, Wave Wrecker, Landslide, Mudslide to remove hazards, Provoke, Teardown, and Marsh Wave. And Marsh Wave is actually a very good move in doubles because it can actually lower the special defense stat of the opposing Loomians. And it hits both of them. So it's actually a very solid support Loomian in doubles. But unfortunately in singles, it's really niche. Not bad, but just really niche. It can be good on certain teams if you need a range tank to soak Zulong hits, or a melee tank to actually live hits from Barbadger, which is nice. But it doesn't really do much more than that, and that's why it's the lowest Loomian on this list. So, yeah, Mulmer, number 5 on this list. Number 4 on this list is going to be Cheyanta. Cheyanta is the Ice Light type Loomian that was the first ranked PvP Loomian ever added in Loomian Legacy. Now, Cheyanta has some very interesting stats. It has an HP stat of 98, energy stat of 97, melee attack of 95, ranged attack of 73, and speed of 115, making it one of the fastest Loomians I'm going to talk about on this list. Its defenses, though, not that good. This is a frail late-game cleaner that's really fast, and it has some really good abilities. It has Sharp Claws to boost its melee attack, but even with Sharp Claws, it sometimes still doesn't do enough damage. And while it does have some high base power moves like Radiant Rush, and even a setup move in Brawn Boost, it doesn't usually catch Okos, and it absolutely struggles against Luminami. Luminami is one of the meta Loomians, and if it struggles to break through it, it's going to be a Loomian that struggles. But despite that, the fact that it can set up on a Luminami as it switches in and out is really good. You can even run other abilities like Mesmerizing to be immune to priority attacks, which is huge for a Loomian that's weak to Brawler. And you can even run the ability Prismatic to be immune to Flash and Flee yourself, so you can use that as a trap against other Luminamis. Other moves that it learns is Radiant Rush, Mega Punch, Frost Punch, Ice Hammer, Light Dash, Dazzling Barrage, Icicle Trap, Swat, Primal Slash to hit Cosmere, Flash and Flee for Pivot, and Ill Will in case you get statused on. Cheyanta is a very good Loomian, and it's very good in the late game. This isn't a Loomian that's going to deal supreme damage immediately because it's pretty much a Loomian that relies on the Brawn Boost. But you can be very flexible. You can run very nimble to outspeed stuff. You can run very brawny to hit harder. And you can even run priority options like Light Dash, which Light Dash is actually a nice option because it hits Loomians like Zulong and Wyndolin for super effective damage. And it's really nice to actually have priority on those Loomians, especially if you're running the Mesmerizing Loomian. And Sharp Claws can actually make it so you can boost the damage of those moves as well, making Cheyanta very dangerous after a Brawn Boost. But before the Brawn Boost, Cheyanta is a pretty below average Loomian, and it's unfortunately not been given much help ever since Season 0, which is kind of sad because Cheyanta is a very cool Loomian, and I think if it got like a different move, maybe a move that could hit Luminami, I think it could actually be a very huge meta threat. But right now, Cheyanta is a solid late game cleaner that deserves the number 4 spot on this list. Alright, we're into our top 3 now, and number 3 on this list is going to be Feroglyph, the mine type that was added in Ranked PVP Season 1. Now, Feroglyph has some very good stats. HP stat of 88, energy stat of 100, melee attack and melee defense of 55, ranged attack of 120, ranged defense stat of 101, and a speed stat of 106. This is a really good Loomian because it actually has some very good abilities. It has Idiosyncratic, which can flip its melee and range stats, which is huge, meaning that you can make Feroglyph a melee attacker. And it has Temper, which if it gets below half health, it can actually get a Temper boost, making it hit even harder. And this synergizes really well with one of the new moves it gotten, which was Mind Drain. Which Mind Drain was just added recently in Season 4 for Feroglyph, which makes Feroglyph actually a very dangerous late game cleaner. And the thing is, I wanted to put Feroglyph below Cheyanta because it actually sucked in its season. I mean, it had one of the lowest win rates out of any Loomian in Season 1, and it really didn't do good until this season when I got Mind Drain and so many different moves. Because the thing is with Feroglyph, Feroglyph has been given so much love over the years because it's always been a Loomian that's just been kind of mid. Never a meta-relevant threat until kind of now, but even then, it still struggles against Luminami. It still struggles against Lachette. It still struggles against a lot of the meta threats. Like, it's a good Loomian now, but it's not something that's even meta, which is kind of frustrating when Feroglyph has 27 rally moves, the most out of any Loomian in the entire game. Cheyanta, on the other hand, has 6 rally moves. Boy, you know a Loomian that Jamie is biased to is 100% Feroglyph. And that's frustrating, because I can imagine some other Loomians that would love to have the move pool of Feroglyph, but Feroglyph has it, and it still can't be one of the top Loomians. I mean, it's number 3 on this list, but you gotta keep in mind that all these Loomians on this list aren't even superstars. A couple of them are really good, but most of them are just kind of average. So, it being only number 3 on this list just shows how mid Feroglyph kind of is. But despite that, it has so many moves. Are y'all ready for all of the moves that Feroglyph has? Alright, drum roll please. Judgment, Boulder Blast, Shrewd Blast, Spectral Burst, Mind Drain, Climate Cannon, Bulk Up, Peace of Mind, Hasted, Drudge, Earthquake, Landslide, Rock Slide, Draco Beam, Dark Surge, Hullabaloo, Mudslide, Outburst, Phantom Blast, Primal Slash, Provoke, Talent Trade, Rogue Assault, Deja Vu, Bane of Haste, Horror Row, Tear Down, Gain Drain, Dissipate, and Return to Sender. And there's probably a lot of other moves that I'm also missing as well. Those are so many moves that Feroglyph has gotten, and it can be ran on a lot of different roles, but it doesn't use any of those roles extremely well. The only role that it utilizes well is solid late game cleaner, and even then, it gets outclassed by Loomians like Zulong, who can pivot out, or Cheyanta, who can Braum boost, and other stuff. So, the fact that it has all these moves, and it still struggles to be a good Loomian, just shows how damning. It's very damning for Feroglyph, and that's why it's number 3 on the list. Very frustrating. It should be a lot better than what it is, but it's still solid. Temper Mind Drain is very good for it, and it can be broken in certain situations, but other than that, it's kind of a mid Loomian, but it's number 3 because it's been getting all the love in the world, even though it doesn't even really deserve it that much. Number 2 on this list is going to be Helvantic. Finally, a Loomian that deserves all the praise that it has. It's the electric toxic type that hits extremely hard, has really good coverage, and really good base stats. HP stat of 123, energy stat of 95, melee attack of 130, melee defense of 71, range defense of 60, and a speed stat of 85. Helvantic is a very good Loomian, and this is the most recent PvP Loomian that is added to rank, and it's a really good one. It has 2 really good abilities in Aggressive and Pitch Black. Aggressive makes it so every time it catches a KO and it gets a +1 boost, which is very good for a Loomian that has 85 speed. Because after specialty boots and Nimble, you can outspeed everything in the entire game. And Pitch Black is really good because it gives you a second stab option or a third stab option with Gnarly Gash. really good set of moves because Electric Toxic with Dark coverage is some of the best coverage out of any Loomian in the entire game. This is also a Loomian that can hit Lumishet for super effective damage, as Baneful Bash can hit both Luminami and Lachette for super effective damage, which is a huge deal in a meta that is, that has that team structure everywhere. Other moves it can run is Thunder Crash, Primal Slash to hit Cosmere, Poison, Baneful Bash, Electro Punch, Stun, Swat, Bulk Up, Zip Zap, and Gnarly Gash. Helvantic is a very good Loomian, and while it's really only used as an offensive threat, it has really good health and bulk that it can even be ran defensively. You can throw up a poison or two, stun a fast Loomian to lower their energy, and then you can kind of just stall them out as well. It also has a very good defensive typing as it only has 3 weaknesses. Quad weak to earth, weak to water, and weak to mind, and that's it. And it has some very good resistances as well. So despite being a really good offensive Loomian, it can be used defensively as well, and it can be used to switch into a resistant move because it has very good natural bulk. Despite being the number 2 Loomian on this list, it does barely fall short to number 1. But honestly, I could see a lot of people put Helvantic in the number 1 slot because it is a very reliable Loomian, and it's probably the Loomian with the biggest peak on this list. But despite that, it does barely fall short to number 1. Let's head to that Loomian right now. The number 1 Loomian on this list is Infernix. A lot of people might be shocked that Infernix is number 1 and not number 2 on this list, but I have my reasonings. First of all, let's look at its base stats. 84 base health, 95 energy, 58 melee defense, which is probably the worst stat that it has, 110 ranged attack, 117 ranged defense, and 89 speed. Overall, just very balanced stats across the board. And this was the Loomian that was added in Ranked PVP Season 3. And it's a Fire Ancient type that is very good. Really good defensively, has 4 resistances and 2 quad resistances, which makes Infernix a very easy Loomian to switch in. And it has a lot of roles that it can fill. The biggest flaw with Infernix is that it doesn't necessarily have a role that it's prominent in. You know, it doesn't have a role where it's the best Loomian in the entire game in. But instead of being the best Loomian in the game in a certain role, it's a top 3 Loomian in pretty much any role it can do. And that's why it is number 1, because if you have like a 6 or 7 slot in order to fill in a role for to add to your team, Infernix is a really great option for it. I mean, Infernix has 3 really good abilities. Hotfoot, Power Napper, and Pyro, and all 3 of these abilities are really good for different reasons. Power Napper is probably the most relevant in Infernix because anytime it switches out, it gains HP back, and when you combine this with Luminami, it's an unstoppable Power Napper duo. Well, you can just continue to switch out and they infinitely gain HP back, and it's really good because Infernix in Season 3 got Dissipate, so it's able to actually pivot out now, which is really good. Not to mention that there's also the Bane of Haste set as well, which it's actually the best Bane of Haste Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy because of Power Napper and Dissipate, meaning you can get into a Bane of Haste sweeper without them taking a hit. And with Power Napper, makes it so Infernix can set multiple Bane of Haste per game, which is the only Loomian in singles that can effectively do that. There's also the Hotfoot set. If you set up a Heat Wave, Infernix can pretty much outspeed any Loomian in the entire game. Set up a Magnify and can pretty much just clean up any team that doesn't have Luminami or El Iguana in it. It's actually insane how good of a sweeper it is under Heat Wave. And even the Pyro ability is really good. You can even run the Pyro one under Heat Wave and throw out Goggles boosted Flare Blast, and it can absolutely nuke every single Loomian. Like I said, Infernix is not the best at any of its roles, but it's really good in all of its roles, so it's very easy to fit on a team. Other moves that it can learn is Burn Up to get rid of hazards, Jetstream for coverage, Draco Beam, Raging Flame for melee attackers, Wonder Herb to get rid of status conditions, Return to Sender to actually hit Luminami and El Iguanas on Flash and Blaze, Magnify, Peace of Mind, Provoke, Mud Spatter, Phoenix Flame, Shrewd Blast, Dissipate, Bequeath, and Fire Breath. There's no other Loomian in the game that can be in a good role in a lot of its roles. Like, it's good at everything. It's good on offense, it's good on defense, it's good on stall, it's good on Bane of Haste. I guess the only thing it can't do is set up barbs, but it can get rid of barbs. It can pretty much do everything. And in the future, in year 2, season 1, it's gonna get Trip Root to hit Luminami. So it's only gonna make this Loomian even better in the future, as it's going to be able to finally hit Lumi Shen. But right now, even without Trip Root, it is still the #1 Loomian on this list. And here it is, Infernix, the best ranked PvP Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this list might be a little bit controversial, mainly because Helvantic could easily be in the #1 spot as well. But please tell me in the comments if y'all agree with Infernix being #1 or not. It will definitely be a very interesting discussion we'll have in the comments. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!